Hey there, hope you're doing good. In companies, we have discussions about tech, about architecture, coding, UX, about marketing campaigns, about hiring, about company plans. We discuss all of these. But we don't set aside time to discuss people. People are treated as an afterthought. And they try to make do, and one day they are unhappy enough and they leave. And it comes as a surprise to the manager. And it doesn't matter how senior the employee is, I moved out from my job as a CTO, and I was hearing from my friend who used to head marketing for a startup, and he left. And the founders asked why, and he said, "I'm not feeling challenged in my job," and they were surprised. And by then, it was too late to do anything. So the company lost a very competent guy. Now, when now you could say, why does the manager need to check? Why can't people speak up? We do speak up, but then often managers treat it as, when I say manager and employee here, I'm not talking about like a hierarchical relationship where one guy is considered to be senior and mature and the employee is considered not to know much. I'm not using that connotation here. I'm just saying from a company structure point of view, right? They may be peers in their skill and maturity and everything. But company structure wise, for example, the founder is the manager of the CTO or the head of marketing, unless he's a co founder himself. So that's the sense in which I'm using the word manager. The thing is, employees do flag their concerns to managers, but often a band aid is put in. So that specific incident is solved in some way or not solved. And over time, either the employee stops speaking up because he's not getting solutions. Also, these things are awkward, right? And those of us who are senior do not go to other people with our problems. We are used to solving them ourselves. So we try, and when we can no longer solve them, we move out. So that's why managers should make the time and space for a one on one with everyone. Need not be every week, need not be every 2 weeks, can be once in a month, can even be once in 2 months. But it has to be a long conversation, like a couple of hours. Go to a park together or a lake, walk around, just chat. Make it as informal as possible. Don't have it in the office environment. Give the time and space for these thoughts and concerns to come out. If you're very particular about time management and say, okay, it's 5:30, can we wind up quickly? Then the real issues won't come out. Because it needs comfort. And you need to create the right environment where these issues come out. An analogy is that when you brainstorm, you don't get to the meaty stuff in the first 45 minutes or sometimes not even the first hour. After an hour and a half, things are going strong. So it takes time to build up. So similarly, if we have a one-on-one, before the one-on-one, both sides are busy doing something else. And suddenly they stop and meet. Let's say they go to a park. It will take some time for the mind to change. And there will be some routine updates to give and so on. And by the way, manager employee one on ones should not be misused for project updates. And when will this project be done? Planning, discussions, how to handle specific issues. Or somebody has this problem, what should we do? No. One on one between the manager and the employee is dedicated to what the employee wants. It's a personal thing. It's a time to focus on the individual, not the work. Because all the remaining days of the week and hours of the day we focus on the work. This is a special time to focus on the individual. So you need to create the time and space and patience, and you also need to create a personal bond where people feel comfortable saying some things. Like, why are you comfortable talking about some things with some people and not others? Because you have that bond, you have that context where you feel comfortable speaking out, which has been built up over time. So similarly, managers should create the time and the space Because if you're a people manager and your people are unhappy, or a person is unhappy, let me not generalize and say people, the rest all doesn't matter really. If he moves out, it's going to be a massive disruption to the organization, much more than the project. So, kind of focusing on the project and how it's going and things like that, and ignoring the person is penny wise, pound foolish. Yes, you are saving a few hours in these topics, but when the person leaves, it's a massive disruption. And sometimes people, employees in this case, don't even know how they are feeling. For example, somebody may be feeling that others are against him, they are impediments to his work rather than cooperating with him. He may not know that in a crystallized form, the manager has to draw it out of the person. So, in a sense, managers are counselors. They have to focus on people. Now, you can say, I don't want to do that. That's totally fine. There are other job roles where you don't need to, like an architect or something, right? Where you focus, or a staff engineer, where you focus on the tech and not the people. Right? If that kind of role makes you happier, great. But whoever is a manager should take the job of a manager seriously. And I think this is the main thing. And because people don't know how they are feeling, right? Thoughts and emotions, not thoughts. This is all about emotion, right? And those of us who are logical, some of us may not like it. They may be like, how are you feeling? No, that's not a fact. But emotions are, if anything, more important than facts, because we are humans, we are emotional creatures. If somebody is feeling that the job is not a good fit for them, then no amount of facts is going to change their decision to quit. So, because emotions are subtle, we feel something, we don't know why, we don't know what, we can't put it into words. Managers should create the environment and explore and have excellent people skills to be able to draw these things out and solve these problems at the fundamental level. Of course, the employee also should be receptive. There are too many people who don't speak up, who are intimidated or distrustful, or say something when they mean something else, which again makes it harder for the recipient to decode it. Or they say something to the manager's face and then criticize the manager behind his back. All these bad behaviors should not be there. So, this is why people problems are harder than technical problems. And you have to treat it with the same level of respect and seriousness and focus on it so that people feel happy and they don't leave, their problems are solved, and they continue with the company. And a person who is motivated and committed is a huge asset to the company.